Okay, recording button is blinking, so that's a good start. This is episode 8 with a good friend of mine, Brett. How are you doing?
Very good, very good. I can't believe we're on episode 8 already.
Mm,
That has
gone
gone
quick.
quick. Was I on episode 1?
Um,
I think,
it
or was that,
it
oh
might
no,
have been
no.
3 or 4.
No, I think it was probably, yeah, I think you're right, it was 2 or 3, but yeah, time flies, we're back on again. I can't believe we're on episode 8.
Yeah, it's gone very quick, but it's awesome to see you back and to interview you kind of a one-on-one situation. So I'm looking
Mm.
forward to getting some questions in. A lot of you may not have known this, but Brett came down to the gym today to visit. We had a bit of a session, which was awesome. So yeah, that was really nice to catch up. So we have spoken a little bit, but we saved the juicy questions for the podcast, and we'll see where it takes us. You good?
Perfect. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
No, it sounds good. I did enjoy that session today.
that was good.
Nice little pump up session. And seeing all the guys, Charlie as well. Good
Yeah,
for him to come down and see
shout
some.
out to
Yeah, it's good
Charles.
to see some familiar faces that I haven't seen since you know 6th of July last year.
Yeah, a long
So
time ago.
yeah,
It's weird that you've mentioned Charlie. Charlie's seemed to have he's had a mention now in every single episode, no matter who it's been. It's a bit of a running theme, which is quite funny.
there we go. Continued the old tradition.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. But no, how did the photo shoot go today?
Yeah, went really really well. I knew that this guy that I went through. I knew he was all right because you've used him.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like a couple of months back.
Yeah,
Um, So I knew I always wanted to do a photo shoot before my competition this time. That's the only one of the main things I did regret from my last competition. So I knew I wanted to do it. But yeah, a good recommendation from yourself, Carl Morris, really good guy.
yeah,
Got some great photos. But I'm gonna probably release them in a staggered manner, like
yeah,
you did yourself. I quite
yeah,
liked the little hype, just releasing one image every now and then
yeah.
uh, to the people.
No, Carl's an awesome guy. Like I said, he did my photos the day of lockdown, pretty much, or day before it was about 3 hours before the announcement. So, highly recommend Carl Morris if anyone's looking for some photographs. He is definitely one of the best, and the quality is unbelievable. So, yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
recommend
Very
checking him out.
reasonably priced as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
agreed. But no, he'll go out your way to make the photos as best as he can and make sure the lighting's right. And he really does take his time with everything. So
mm.
yeah, I really recommend him. But no, shout out to Carl.
Yeah.
He's
Have a
a
good
legend.
shout. It was a good day. Have a nice little workout with you guys, then had a photo shoot, and then
Yeah,
yeah. But I tell you what, it's tiring.
I
Photo
bet.
shoots are harder work than you think, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah.
I got back. I had to have a nap. I had like a little hour's nap, and then got up, and now I feel like refreshed to do this podcast.
No, awesome, man. No, awesome. I look forward to seeing the photographs. I look forward to seeing what angles you've come up with and the shots. But no, awesome, man. Spot on. Right, we'll
Yes.
jump into it. Again, I've got my researcher who's done some research on yourself just to get me a few questions, and I've got a few questions from some other people as well. So shout out to my little researcher. I'm not sure if she wants me to mention her name, but I'll ask her next time and see. But no, she helps me to get dig a little deeper into the people I'm interviewing, just so I can make sure I can get some really good questions in if they haven't already been
Awesome.
asked. So, first one I've got here: when did your interest in fitness start, and why?
So I would say my interest in general fitness. It's always been a part of my life, um, even if it wasn't weightlifting or competing or bodybuilding, whatever.
Mm.
But I love sport, a lot of football, rugby, basketball. All the standard sports that you play in school. I just loved. I had a very competitive kind of mindset and personality, so that definitely transferred through to the sports I played. But specifically with weightlifting and going to the gym, that definitely is something that picked up in my first couple of years at university.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I actually watched a lot of YouTubers for about 12 months beforehand. I don't know if anyone would recognize them, but like your Hodge twins, Christian Guzman,
Yeah,
your Matt Ogus, Legends of Aesthetics guys, and Chris Jones, all those old school
yeah,
YouTubers that came through. So I was always interested and I watched them and they all competed. So I was always like in that zone, but I didn't go to the gym. but it's something that I wanted to do. And yeah, I was just speaking to a friend of mine that goes to the gym fairly often in, I think it was like November,
Mm-hmm.
2012, 2011. And I said, oh, New Year's resolution, I'm going to start going to the gym. And he just turned around and said, don't be a New Year's guy. It's November, start tomorrow. So that was quite an interesting. I remember that
No
conversation
way.
very clearly because I was like, you know what? Why am I waiting until the 1st of January to go to the gym when I want to go now? So
Yeah.
yeah, about 2012, about 18, 19 years old. So yeah, almost 10 years in the gym.
A lot of time
Still trying.
invested.
Yeah, my carbs haven't changed.
um, calves, man, it's hard. Calves are not an easy muscle group, but
No, they're a sticking point for a lot of people. But yeah, I'd like it. Just to round it up, I've always been interested in fitness, but weightlifting really only became a massive part about 8 years ago.
mm-hmm. Oh, nice.
And I've gradually got more serious. At first, it was just I wanted to get bigger and stronger and impress people. It's funny how you go to the gym to impress other people and almost like be cool, and then it just slowly transitions, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, I'm doing this all for myself, and I don't really care
Yeah,
about anyone else thinks. It's all about self improvement and progression. So
yeah. I like
yeah,
what you said
that
there.
was really really cool.
Yeah, the self-improvement thing I really like, where you're doing it for yourself. It's your own time. It's your time away from everyone else. Um,
Yeah,
that's very important mentally as well. But no,
yeah, it's a real escape for a lot of people away
mhm.
from their lives, whatever it may be outside of the gym.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, man. No, brilliant. Next one we've got here says, what made you want to compete on a stage? And then what was there a particular moment or inspiration behind your decision?
It's a good question. It's a really good question from the researcher.
Yeah.
Really good stuff. I'd say, like I said, when I was watching and following YouTubers over the whole time that I've been going to the gym, competing was always an element in my mind. So, like Christian Guzman from Alphalete, he competed regularly. So did Matt Ogus, and all these YouTubers. So I was always in that environment.
hmm
And even though I didn't specifically start going to the gym or think about competing for the first 4 or 5 years, I knew in the back of my mind if I wanted to compete, I needed to build a good foundation of muscle.
Yeah.
Um, especially for a guy, you can't just start at the gym and go, "I'm going to compete next year," because there's a level of maturity in your training and your muscular development that you need to have
Yeah.
before you step on stage. And I'm competing in like what I would probably consider the least muscular build of a category.
hmm
And I've been going to the gym for 8 years, and I feel like I'm only just at that point now. So it obviously depends on your genetics, but you recognize you need to build a good foundation before you compete in the first
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
But it did start to come into my mind more regularly as I cut down for summer holidays with going with the guys, and
Yeah.
I thought, maybe I could compete, but the only thing that held me back was I would never get lean enough. It's okay to get beach lean, where you can see your top two abs and you look reasonably good compared to
Mhm.
the average guy.
Yeah.
Um, but I always knew the sacrifice that it would require to get to the competition level was going to be tough.
Yeah.
Um, so it was only really until exactly July, exactly 1 year before our first competition.
No way.
I was on holiday with a couple of friends of mine in Portugal, and I dieted down for it a little bit. Well, I say dieted down. I thought I was shredded back then. I was. I look back. I was like, you were not shredded at all.
Yeah.
You were maybe like you could see your top two abs and maybe a little bit the other two.
hmm
Um, and I just said to the guys, I was like, I'm going to compete next year. I was like, I'm going to do it. I was like, I'm sick of dieting down for a holiday and never getting to that true leanness because I'd not had anything push me. I've not
hmm
had anything really challenge me in a dieting perspective. So I was like, I'm just going to do it. So even though I competed in July in 2019, I actually paid and booked my Beachbody ticket in December 2018. So 8 months
Wow.
out,
Yeah.
eight months out, I had already paid and registered. because I felt like that's what I needed to get my head in the game and focus.
Yeah.
And it did work. It got me to do it. And then once you've done it once, you know, it depends on the person, but some people fall in love with it, some people don't.
Yeah.
And it was one for me where I just, from that day, I was like, I know I'm going to compete again. And it was just, and now we are one week out from show number 2.
No, that's amazing. I really like that. I really like the story and the motivation behind it. I think your story is very similar to how I kind of viewed it all, where inspirations like Steve Cook was a big inspiration of mine. Guzman was a big inspiration. And I thought, I want to get on stage one day. Like, I want to experience what they're experiencing. But then I never thought I'd be able to get big enough to do it, kind of thing. And I wasn't going to go down the, like, I'm going to quotation supplements route. And I didn't want to push through there. And I thought, I'm never going to compete. And then it kind of purely kept popping up on my feed every now and again. And I was like, oh, well, this guy looks okay. I reckon I could maybe beat him or whatever. And then, like you said December. I think mine was like January, maybe the 2nd. And I saw the beach body category and thought, you know what? I can do that. I think I look better than the guy on the photograph. Like, I think I can do that. And that's how I started. It sounds very similar kind of to yourself, and we've both ended up in the same category at the same time, which is pretty cool.
Exactly that. I think, and you're so right. The most popular, so the people that aren't in fitness, what you do see from competitors are the massive guys, Olympia, IFBB pros, and even if you see regular kind of regional competitions, it's always the muscle model, the men's physique guy, and it's always the overall champion that you see. And those guys are really, really solid genetics, more than 99% of the population. So when it's, like me and you, where we have reasonably good genetics, but clearly not enough to go up to the guys that are massive and competing in men's, the top 1%, you kind of think, God, am I big enough? Like, am I just going to get laughed off stage? And it's exactly that. I came across Beachbody and I was like, I saw a YouTube video of the Beachbody amateurs, and I was like, wow. I was like, I could be competitive in this class.
Yeah.
And in some cases, like, God, I'm like, I was probably leaner than some of the guys on stage when I was just getting ready for holiday. So I was like, maybe I could challenge.
Yeah.
And that's how I fell into Beachbody and fitness model categories, just the exact same as you. So interesting how we've kind of came through that same path.
Yeah, no, awesome. I remember when I saw you in the posing workshop, and I think you had like Alphalete joggers on or an Alphalete top, and then you saw a 3D can of mine, and you're like, oh my God, that's 3D. And it was like our journey was the same, and we both like the same thing. So it was, again, it's nice to meet like-minded people and people who kind of think the same way.
Yeah, no, it's weird how similar we are. I remember even having a chat at that posing workshop, and now you were like, we're talking about our journeys, and you were like, well, how much have you lost? Where did you start from? And I was like, I started from about 96, 97 kilos, and you're like, God, that's what I started like. And you're like, how heavy are you now?
Yeah,
well, about 84, 85. You're like, so am I.
Yeah,
we're like the same height, same weight. It was like unbelievable.
Yeah. No, it's nice, man. It's nice to see. But no, I love it. I love the stories behind everything. Right, we'll go to the next question. It says here, you placed second at your first competition, Beachbody at Pure Elite. Was this your first show, and what were the best memories of the day?
Yes, that was my first show. And another thing that I really liked was, when I got in contact with you and Charlie and George and all the other guys, it was kind of everybody's first time competing. It was really good to mix and really share that experience together.
Yeah.
But I've had a few people ask me what it was like, what the best bits were on show day. And when I really look back and think hard, the more I realized that the whole day is just one massive adrenaline blur and I have no idea what happened. It all just goes so quickly, and everything is just so crazy that it's almost hard to remember really fine details, especially when you're out on stage and you can't see anything because you're blinded by lights. You have no idea if the pose you're pulling looks good. You have no idea what it looks like. You just hear people shouting. You have no idea where the judges are. You don't know what's going on, but you just somehow, and it feels like it lasts about 12 seconds.
Yeah.
Um, but all you know is when you come off stage, you're like, wow, I want to do that again. It's
Yeah.
really weird.
Yeah.
But definitely the best bits about the day were, one, how friendly and how, well, I don't even know if uncompetitive is even a word, but just it was very relaxed and everybody was supportive. There was no, you know, it wasn't too serious.
Yeah.
It's funny because you spend so much of your life prepping for this day that you think everybody would take it super, super seriously because it's so much work.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody's actually really happy to help each other, share equipment, help each other pump up,
Yeah.
share information. Um, and yeah, I just love the fact, especially your first time competing, if you don't have a lot of a network that are already doing the same thing as you. Like I was the only person that I knew that
Mm-hmm.
was prepping, and I kind of, you almost feel alone in a lot of respects
Yeah.
socially, and because people don't understand what you're doing. But then all of a sudden you're surrounded by loads of people that have had the same experience as you, the same roadblocks, the same challenges, and it's just, yeah, it's just all this people on your same pathway that you get to mix with. It's it's just really, really cool.
Yeah.
And if you ever think about competing again, it's really nice because since then, this next prep, I have so many friends and people that I'm in regular contact with that are doing the same thing as me now. I
Yeah.
feel like it's very much more inclusive, and I've enjoyed my prep this year a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people wouldn't expect that answer. It might have been, oh, my favorite part was the posing, my favorite part was the tan, or my favorite part was this. But your favorite part was just the overall day and the experience of meeting people who are like-minded and who can, again, give you knowledge, talk, make you relax. And so the whole atmosphere backstage,
yeah,
a bit nervy when you first, obviously, when we all turn up, but after a while, everyone becomes best mates backstage, and it's a good laugh. It's a
it is.
nerve-wracking good laugh. And
It really is. And another, you have to let me know what you think about this as well, Damien. But I really, that moment once it's all done and you get to enjoy, life's almost unappreciated, um, you know, what's the word? Is you just going out with your
yeah,
girlfriend or going out with your parents to an Indian or an
yeah,
Italian and enjoying the food and maybe enjoying a beer and just sitting back and relaxing.
yeah,
That so many people take for granted, and they
yeah,
they don't truly place value on it because it's just readily available whenever they want, 24/7. Being able just to really appreciate a lot of things in life that you maybe necessarily wouldn't
hmm
otherwise.
hmm
I think it's a great feeling afterwards when you get to really appreciate those little bits of life, spending time with family and
yeah,
friends.
yeah, yeah. I feel like I missed out on a few bits and bobs during both preps and,
Mm,
like you say, when it finishes, you just think, right, I can go for this, like maybe coffee out with a bit of cake, or I can go for a meal, or I don't have to stress about this anymore. And that feeling is pretty amazing. It's kind of like lockdown and coming out of lockdown and going out for a meal for the first time after the what's been
yeah,
happening kind of
I,
thing.
I would say, yeah, I'd say that's pretty similar actually. When this lockdown finishes and as someone you can go out with all the friends and they
Mm,
can give each, they can get close and give each other hugs and have a drink and have a good
yeah,
night and have a proper old time. Then that kind of it'll be a similar feeling, I imagine.
yeah. But I really really like the answer, and I really like like you say, just the small moments that you miss out on make when you actually come out of the prep, make them even that more special.
Oh,
Simple things like going to the cinema, or just like you say, just spending a bit of time with the missus or
yeah,
with the mates, and those times feel so much better and a lot more valuable because you learn the value of it when you're hungry, when you're starving, when you're doing your cardio, and you can't do these nice things. It makes you appreciate the things a little bit more than I think most people do. And like I say, people
yeah,
take it for granted. So,
yeah. And I think it's something very important that to appreciate what we
mhm,
have, and that definitely puts it into perspective
yeah,
for sure.
couldn't agree more. Awesome. Right, we'll go to the next one. We'll keep blasting through. It says, "How did you feel when you earned your pro card?"
I thought they got it wrong, to be honest. I was just like, what? I was like, hang on, what's going on here? Just initially because I was shocked because I was somewhat very much disappointed. As good as the day was,
Mm.
and as was proud I was of myself to bring the best physique I'd ever brought in my life, I was very also at the same time disappointed in my physique because I knew I had so much more.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what happened. I felt, there's nothing worse than the feeling thinking I looked better 5 weeks before the show. And I don't know what happened in those 5 weeks, but I came out on the day worse. So I was kind of like disheartened initially because my physique wasn't quite what I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
But when I knew I got down to the final two, and it was just me and you, um, I think Lucy led with and receiving his pro card and second place. And I almost didn't even register the fact that she said pro card. I just remember getting second place,
Mm.
and thinking, oh, gutted, but second place is still good. And then I've realised, I was like, did she just say pro card? I was almost like when I was competing, just placing seemed like an absolute dream. I
Yeah.
never thought pro card was even, it wasn't even on my radar.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking, oh, I want to get a pro card. So when she said it, I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh, I don't know, you might not be able to, I don't know if you see it, but I was just like, oh. I was just looking at my parents in the crowd going, what's this? I don't know what, because looking back, I know it's not good to think this way, but I just thought my posing and my physique, I don't feel like I deserved it.
Mm.
Um, but obviously I was going to openly accept it because, and accepting it almost drove me inside to challenge and say, you know what, I am definitely coming back next year, and I am 100% going to absolutely destroy what I brought to
Mm-hmm.
stage. But yeah, I was buzzing to get that pro card. It was more than I ever could have imagined.
Yep. Well,
Yeah, it's a buzz.
the pro card. I remember when you got it. I remember it got down to me and you looked at me. I don't know if you remember this. Unless I've dreamt this, I remember you saying to me, "Mate, it's us two. Here we go," something like that. And I'm like, "What are you
Yeah,
talking about?" He's like, "It's us two left," and I was just in my own little world, just spaced out, watching Charlie and everyone else walking around. I was just thinking, I don't know what Brett's
yeah,
talking about here. And then when they announced that you won your pro card, it was like, no way. And I knew by receiving the pro card, it was like pro qualification. Your physique is good enough to be pro level.
yeah,
You've done well. So even though you might have thought, well, your physique wasn't maybe good enough, or your posing wasn't good enough, or something, you were good enough to receive a pro card. So
yeah.
you've done
Especially
something
second
right.
place as well. Especially
Yeah,
at second place, because I mean, obviously they do award pro cards second place, but it's usually first place that gets it, and second is only, I guess, you came second, but we still feel you're
mm-hmm.
deserving of a pro card, which I was buzzing. And actually, to be honest, now you jog my memory. Actually, I remember George got his pro card first.
Yeah,
We were chatting to him backstage, and I'm like, "How cool is that, George? You got your pro card."
yeah.
And then in the
I'll
back
never
of my
forget
mind,
his smile. I'll
yeah,
never forget his smile.
he was buzzing, wasn't he? And I was just like, and then in the back of my mind, I was like, you know what? I didn't even think about the pro card at the time, but I was like, wow, that'd be really cool if we got one of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And there we are, both got them on that day. It
yeah.
was amazing.
It was immense. Yeah, it was a pretty surreal feeling. But no, again, big well done on that.
Yeah,
Like I said,
you must be sat in behind you. Obviously, because I got called out first, you must have been thinking, well, he's got a pro card and come second. You must be thinking, well, surely as a first place prize, the pro
yeah,
card must therefore be following me as well.
I didn't know. Like, it's very obvious when you look back and you think, well, obviously, if I come first, I will get one. But part,
Yeah,
well, Brett's got one. I want one as well. Like, this ain't fair. Like, I want one as well. Um, but no, it was, I don't know. And then walking backstage and like talking to everybody, and it's like, wow, this is real. This is real. But like you said,
yeah,
with your physique, I'm not sure if another question will come up around this. It may do, but I just want to quickly just pick up on this. So you said about your physique and your posing. Obviously, I saw you today, and your physique is 100% better than it was when I saw you last. Your progress has been fantastic. I told you this again in person, but I thought I'd say it again anyway. Your
yeah,
posing from then wasn't bad, but now it is 10 times better now. Like I said, it flows way better. Your angles are way better. I'm not saying I'm some sort of posing guru, but you can just see in your physique, you've made some real good changes. Like you said, your legs today legs looked like twice the size, and your shoulders look broader. And you're like, well, Damien, I've been smashing legs and I've been doing some shoulders, so something's been going right. But no, I think you've definitely come a long way, which is awesome to see progress. If you would have came in and you just looked the same, it'd be like, what have you been doing all this time? But you have gone back into the drawing board, and you've really smashed it. And again, like, we're all competitors in a way, we're all against each other, but we're also very open and happy to critique, and we're happy that other people do well. Like, I obviously want Brett to do really well, and you've become a friend, and we've all become friends, and it's good to see when people make improvements and people improve. Because if you can't be happy for your friends, you never. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's not right.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. But I almost feel like all the things I was disappointed in last year were the main drivers for me to work as hard as I have done over this past year.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we were talking about before in the gym when we said, competing again is largely to do with that inside drive. It's like, have you got something to improve on or something to prove?
Mm-hmm.
And there's just something, if you don't have anything to strive for, like a next goal, then it is hard to get the motivation to go through a competition process.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why some people choose not to compete after doing really well in a competition, because maybe they don't have that drive or that next set goal. Mm-hmm. But for me, the main drive was coming off stage going, I know for a fact I could do a lot better. And that is like the inside drive that said, I'm going to come back and really prove to people or prove to myself that I can provide a better package than that. So in some ways, my failures in last year are what drove me to work as hard as I have done this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to kind of bringing that to stage and seeing what I can get.
No, awesome. I look forward to seeing that. Like I said, the rest of the questions are all about the competing game, so we'll keep blasting through. The next one says, your prep coach was Dan Rayner. Shout out to Dan Rayner.
Yeah.
4-time Beachbody world champion. What was the most important thing he taught you during your prep? Have you got any kind of take-home message or one important thing that you thought, I'll never forget that, or a big tip he gave you which stayed with you?
I think Dan was a really good first coach for me. I think I learned a lot under him. When you compete for the first time, I've said this before to some people that are very much veterans when they go to the gym. It doesn't matter if you've been going to the gym for 1 year or 20 years. You're both on the same level when it comes to competing knowledge, because it's just so different. It's like you can go to the gym for a decade and start a competition process and have absolutely no idea what you're doing, just because it's so different to just go into the gym. And knowing that Dan had won what I strived to achieve 4 times on a pro level is what drove me to go to him the most. And yeah, throughout the prep, I think he really taught me to trust in the process. Yeah. Because there's a big mental battle that goes on in prep. And even this prep, with my experience, there's days where I wake up and go, I don't think I'm good enough, or I don't think I'm lean enough. And, you almost get yourself down and you have bad days, but it's just to keep belief that what you're doing is going in the right direction.
Yeah.
And even though you feel sometimes somewhat lost on whether you're making progress or still on track, just to get your head down and keep pushing. That was definitely something that he taught me. But that is probably I think that's one of my downfalls from last year. I think I lost my way in those last couple of weeks, and in terms of, I didn't think I was that good enough, so I was like, what's the point in doing my cardio today? What I'll do is I'll just skip a meal and not do cardio because I was just so tired. But in reality, it's like, you're not following the process that he set out for me. I should have had the motivation to do that cardio and eat that meal. And if I'd follow, and I think, and that's why I know that my physique that I brought to stage wasn't on Dan, it was on me, because I failed to trust his process. Yeah. Well, I did trust it, but I just struggled to find the motivation to follow it. And that's something this year I've just nailed. Everything on my plan has been to the T, and even though it's got hard, it's just to push through. So that's a big thing that I learned under Dan.
No, brilliant.
Just completely 100% trust and faith in a coach, and whatever, even if you don't have a coach, if you set a plan out for yourself, just make sure you execute it, and no excuses for not following it.
Yeah, no, brilliant. Right, we'll keep blasting through onto the next one. It says you're entering Purely again. Is it just Beachbody that you're entering, or are you doing any other ones?
I am doing fitness model.
Nice.
I was initially thinking of doing only Beachbody, purely because that is the only thing I truly care about.
Mm-hmm.
If someone said you can come second in Beachbody and second in fitness model, or just do Beachbody on its own and come first, I'd choose Beachbody on its own and just come first. That is what my energy is going into. So I had a good chat with Stuart, shout out Stuart, of Pure Elite, and I said to him, look, is there any potential distraction from me doing fitness model as well as Beachbody? Because if it's potentially going to take away, I don't know, subconsciously from a judge's point of view, that I'm not going to do it. Yeah. My one thing is Beachbody, and that's what I want. But then after a conversation, it was clear that doing fitness model had no takeaways from Beachbody, and obviously at the same time it doubles your experience on stage. Mm-hmm. So we went for fitness model, but from a difference last year, I'm not doing men's physique. Mm-hmm. Because last year I did all three of those, and I feel like men's physique is even further outside of my personal criteria of what fits me. Mm-hmm. And also the posing criteria and the general process of men's physique is so different to fitness model and Beachbody that I know for a fact it would take away from my energy. I noticed that last year, fitness model and Beachbody, they're very similar. Posing routine, category, criteria, and the outfit is all very similar, but men's physique is very different. And I feel like last year I almost felt divided in my energy between the two, and it was obviously just taking away too much from what I want.
Yeah.
At the end of it all, ultimately, which was Beachbody. So just those two this year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that was my biggest regret, was not doing another category at the World. So I take my hat off to you, and I think well done for doing another one. I think you'll do well. Like I said, I've seen Brett posing today, and he is very, very lean, and we're speaking about leanness today a little bit. And I feel like I got maybe a bit too lean for Beachbody. I think you're looking very, very lean now, and I think you would fit the criteria for fitness model as well as. And I wouldn't be surprised if you did really well on that, to be honest with you. I think, again, I've got quite high hopes for you. I think you are going to do really well. But I think it's really, really good to do the two for the experience. Again, even if you don't do very well in fitness model, like I say, Beachbody is your main one. And that was one of my, my thought process was the same as you. I didn't want to be distracted by anything else. That was what I was going for. And then when I finished, I thought, damn, I should have done another one, because it would have just been good to get some more photographs and more stage footage and presence and everything else. But it's one of them. But I didn't know that. I saw the question. I thought there's no point of asking this, because I already know he's doing Beachbody. And then you've come out of that one. I think, oh no, that's nice.
Yeah. No, I think I'm glad I had a chat with Stuart and got that one sorted.
Yeah.
I am concentrating on like my physique in terms of conditioning is all about Beachbody. So like you said, even if I'm not, because fitness model requires a slightly leaner physique. Mm-hmm. So even if I'm not quite there with fitness model, I'll still do it. And if I get any sort of placing, I'll be very happy.
Yeah.
But like you said, my focus, I feel like my conditioning, because I never plan to lose any fat. Like I don't plan to get any leaner over peak week. Mm-hmm. That's just a week to enjoy and just prepare and get my posing practice together. I'm not planning. Yeah. I don't like getting into peak week thinking, oh, I've got to lose another pound of fat to get there. Yeah. I want to be already there, and I feel like I'm in a good place where I've landed at the right level for Beachbody. Mm-hmm. And if I wanted to truly, really compete for fitness model, I know that I'd need to bring the shreds in a little bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, it makes sense to just go in and see what
Yeah,
happens on the day.
nice. Is Dan also doing fitness model as well?
I imagine he will be. If he's doing Beachbody and then he's also doing men's
Okay.
physique, it would make sense for him to do
Yeah,
fitness model. And I think he's doing international model as well.
that's some more. Awesome.
Um, yeah.
No, nice, nice. Okay, next one. How has your prep gone, and is it harder this time around? Again, me and Brett spoke about this earlier, and he did say to me that he has found this prep, which I found surprising. He said he's found this a little bit easier. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I found it a lot easier. Um, I think my prep this year is shorter. Now, inherently, a shorter prep is always going to be easier. Um, Now, obviously, I slowly lost weight over lockdown, because I knew that I would be competing this time this year.
Yeah,
Instead of thinking, oh, you know what, I'm going to start prepping about 18 to 20 weeks out like I did last time, and just constantly deficit all the way down. I thought, why don't I just, whilst I'm in lockdown, take the opportunity to lose a very small amount of weight, maybe half a pound a week, no stress on the body at all.
mm-hmm.
Doesn't even feel like I'm dieting. Um, and I'm really glad I did that, because I started my prep last year
Yeah,
at around about 218 pounds. But then I started my prep this year at around 205.
wow,
So 13 pounds difference, which is what, like 5 kilos.
yeah,
Um, and it was a very slow, gradual diet, to the point where it didn't feel like I was dieting. So when it got to prep, when it got to time where I was like, right, I need to be serious now and actually start to record weight every day, follow a routine, and really, dig down and really get into the thick of it.
mm-hmm.
Um, it was like, wow, I don't need to do this for 18 weeks. I only need to do it for maybe 12.
Yeah,
And I think that has made a big difference. Starting leaner and having a less prep time has really helped. But I also have just a lot more experience in terms of knowing what to expect and what to feel and how it feels.
yeah,
I think it took me by surprise just how crap you can feel and how bad the bad days can be
yeah,
in prep, as well as how good the good days can be. You kind of almost a little bit, you're like a roller coaster, especially when you get towards the end. Some days you feel like you're high
yeah,
on energy and motivation, and some days you feel low and you just like think, how am I going to survive these next few weeks?
yeah,
And I think just knowing that was there in store, I could manage it more because I knew it was coming. Um, and I've viewed food as more of a fuel this time rather than um, something to desire. And
yeah,
I think taking that emotion away from food has really helped me kind of just be fine being half full all the time.
yeah.
I've not been hungry at all this prep. I don't know how. I don't know
That
how.
is a godsend.
I've been doing a little bit more cardio and eating a little bit more. And I think I really I worked with my prep coach this year for around about 8 to 10 weeks before I even started prep.
Yeah,
So together we really built up my gut health, my metabolism, and I feel like that preparation before the actual weight loss phase
yeah,
has really helped me
yeah,
in the long run. So I'd say a big difference this year is I had my prep coach for a good 8 weeks before my weight loss
yeah,
prep phase, and I think that has really helped. Rather than just getting someone in and saying, "No, I'm going to lose this in 12, 14 weeks. Can you help me lose it?"
yeah.
It made a big difference.
No, awesome, awesome.
Yeah,
I was gonna mention about you've got a different coach this time round, and I was gonna ask how the prep's kind of going and how's it been and what the difference is, but you kind of picked up on it there and explained how the approach has been a little bit different, and it
yeah,
seems to be going very well.
yeah. No, it
Yeah.
was really good. I think I quite like trying different things,
Mm-hmm.
just in general life. So and that goes to everything, even if I'm doing a program, like I'll do push pull legs for a little while and then I'll be like, you know what, I'm going to try upper lower, And then he's like, you know what, I'm going to try a bro split.
Yeah.
And I like to really test and see what works for me.
Mm-hmm.
So as good as Dan was as a coach, and as much as we really support each other and I had a fantastic time under him, I recognized that I quite would like to experience a different style of coach, completely different to Dan,
Mm.
on me and just see what works.
Yeah.
So whereas I did a push-pull leg split and followed macros under Dan, this new guy, this new coach that I've used, he's all about, you know, the right foods, gut health, getting your metabolism firing, and he advocates more of a bro style split, and he just has slightly different processes. So I see it as, rather than go down the same coach and learn the same things, go down a different coach and have a totally different experience and learn a totally new set of skills. And that's why I went for someone else in the end, and it's been really good because now I have contrast and I have so much more knowledge,
Yeah.
and I've noticed that some things that I learned at Dan where I'm like, oh, that was awesome for me, that worked well.
Yeah.
And then from Nick, who I've got now, I'm like, wow, why didn't I do that last prep? That's amazing. And I can almost just take this expertise and make something amazing that fits me well. So I think that's why it's worked a lot better this time.
Awesome. I was going to say, if you want to give a shout out to your coach,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. Nick Edgerton, he's unbelievable. He's so good. He's yeah. I think you just shared on Instagram. He got his 100th top 3 place in terms of his clients in 1 year. He's got over
in 1
100.
year.
He's got 100 different top 3 placings. Yeah. So hopefully I'll do him proud and be number 107 or something in the next week. But yeah, he's got a great resume and he's got a very keen eye for detail. So he's good at that. I think his keen eye has made sure he's taken care of me throughout this period.
Love it.
Yeah.
Sounds fantastic. Oh, brilliant. I look forward to seeing the progress and keeping on your case to see how you get on. Right, we'll jump on to the next one. It says, I understand that Dan is also now competing. He's come out of the dark and said he's competing. So again, I had no idea. A lot of people didn't know, and it was a bit of an announcement. And it was like straight away, I was like, Brett, what do you think? What's your view? Like, are you excited? Are you nervous? And yeah, that is the question. How does it feel to be on the stage with him?
Oh, unbelievable. Dan will know if he's watching this. I've probably messaged him about 4 or 5 times over the past 6 months saying, are you competing? Are you competing? Because it really just astounds me. I can't believe how I've managed to get to the position where I could be on stage against the coach that taught me everything from day one.
Yeah.
So it was always in the back of my mind, but I just didn't think he was competing. And the reason I didn't think he was competing is because he got quite lean. I think, and I know now because he was getting ready for April shows, and he got quite lean, and obviously they cancelled, so obviously he was probably gutted, but he managed to maintain a really, really good physique throughout lockdown.
Yeah.
So even though he was really lean over these past few months, I just thought, well, this guy's obviously taken more of a lifestyle approach to being just lean in general and healthier.
Yeah.
Which was I was very impressed at how well he kept his physique together throughout lockdown.
Yeah.
But then that kind of at the same time kind of kept it under wraps. He was able to keep it under wraps that he was competing. So I was on the bus home from work when I saw it pop up on Instagram. I just started laughing to myself like, this is unbelievable. Texted him straight away, commented on his post.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of people, the majority of people assumes that I would find it either disheartening or worrying or are you okay? You know, he's competing. How would you feel about it? Almost like I find it as a negative thing, but I think it's absolutely amazing. And then to be honest, since that day, it's actually motivated me even more to work harder.
Yeah.
So I've got to thank Dan for giving me even this little bit of motivation just to really smash out these last few weeks.
Yeah.
But I've not actually met Dan in person ever, so I'm really looking forward to seeing him backstage. Yeah, lovely guy. So I'm just really looking forward to the moment where I just meet him in person and we're on stage together. It's like I said to you ages ago on that first competition. It's like we are a fitness model federation putting on a show for a paying audience, albeit live stream to this time.
Yeah.
But we're all in a big production together, putting on a show for people.
Yeah.
You know, we're working together in some respects if you
Mhm.
if you look at it from that perspective. So I'm really looking forward to. He's going to bring a lot more to stage than if he
Yeah.
wasn't there, and bringing together a better show is always a good thing.
Yeah. It's like a whole new narrative, I guess, to the whole situation.
Yeah, and if I somehow on this earth win that show, it's going to feel 10 times sweeter knowing that I had a true champion up against me on the stage.
Yeah. And I think what you said about Dan being lean, I remember messaging Dan over lockdown and just saying, like, man, like you're looking really good here. Not being weird or anything, just saying, like, listen, mate, like your physique's looking amazing. How are you keeping so lean? Like, I'm losing my mind. Have you got any tips? And lo and behold, he must all along. He knew he was going to compete, and I'm thinking, no way. He kept that under wraps very well. But I think it's a cool surprise, and like you said, you're going to face one of the Beachbody greats there. So if you do win, it'll be that much sweeter. Sharing the
Absolutely.
stage with him again will be pretty epic. And like I say, you're going to meet him as well. So yeah, Dan is a really nice guy. I spoke to him a little bit on stage just after the awards and the Worlds, and no, he's a proper down to earth guy. And we spoke a little bit after the show, and he's chill and he wants people to do well. And you can see he's got like from his post, he's got the fire back, and
He definitely
he's
has,
always
yeah.
been there. He's always been there, but he kept it under wraps. But no, it's going to be interesting to see you two both on the stage. I'm slightly jealous that I'm not going to be there, and I think that would have been pretty cool. But I haven't got any secret announcements. I'm definitely not in the world. I'm not going to come out with it in 2 days to go.
Well, it'll be quite a sight if at some point in 2021 all three of us are on stage at the same time.
Yeah, no, that
A
would be pretty.
a true competitive lineup that would be.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I keep going in and out of thinking. This is one of the questions. Well, you asked me the question as well. Like, what are my plans for 2021? And I don't really know yet. I think I'm concentrating a lot on the business side of things and making sure my health's okay and making sure I'm injury free. And I do want to get a little bit bigger in my own physique. Again, I'm not getting any younger now, and I just want to try and build a physique, which may not be competitive in beach body because I might be in between the two categories. But I want to build something where I'm like, you know what, I'm happy with this, and just concentrate on my own health a little bit more. Again, that fire to compete is not quite where it needs to be, like we spoke about today. I want to make sure I'm going in for it for the right reasons. But you never know. Like you say, you might wake up one day and think, you know what, I want to be back and I want to be beating everyone. But it's got to be from inside rather than external.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
tough.
It's hard to explain to people that fire. It's not like a gradual deliberation of whether you want to compete or not. It really is just a switch in your mind where it's just off, and then all of a sudden it's like the fire's there, and it's like, I'm going to compete.
Mm-hmm.
It's more that rather than, oh, I think I'm going to compete. I think I'm going to compete. Yeah, you know what? I'll compete. It's very black and white. It's like you just know deep inside you are wanting to do it and ready,
Yeah.
or you're not.
Yeah.
And sometimes you might not recognize that switch until 20 weeks before the competition, 40 weeks before the competition. It just happens one day.
Yeah. So you never know. One day
So I totally
I
see
will
what you
be
mean.
back. Say again.
I said I totally understand what you mean. Where you just, if you don't have that itch, then it's hard to really bring your best to stage if you don't have that initial fire to get you through 20 weeks of hell.
Yeah, I completely agree, 100%. But you never know. One day that'd be pretty cool. I think us three on stage would be awesome. Again, it'd be good to stand on stage with yourself again, just due to the memories from before, and it'd be awesome to see. Like I say, your physique's has gotten better. And I think I've made improvements. Kind of, I'm going to call this my off season during lockdown. But
awesome
no,
news. Yeah,
no, awesome.
I'm looking forward to the potential.
We'll see
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But no, it's exciting. And again, even if I don't, I'll always be supporting and checking in with the competitors. And I enjoy the competitive scene, and I enjoy watching, and I enjoy seeing people's journeys. And I am a fan of the sport. I'm a huge fan of the sport, like bodybuilding shows, like say IFBB or the other ones.
Yeah.
And I just enjoy the like someone likes a football team. Like I've got favorite bodybuilders, kind of same scenario. Like James Hollingshead a
Yeah,
few days ago, I ended up watching that, and I'm a big fan of the industry. So even if I don't compete, we'll see. We'll see. But the
absolutely.
fire's got to be there, and
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see. Right, next one. So what do you like to do in your spare time?
What do I like to do in my spare time? When I'm in the thick of competing like I am now,
Mm-hmm.
there isn't a ton of spare time outside of my job. Um, but what I have picked up recently, actually, over lockdown, is a YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I kind of always thought about doing, but it's one of the biggest things that I've always told myself, similar to like start competing for the first time. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
am I good enough? Do I seem weird on camera? Are people even going to watch me? Like, is it even worth doing?
yeah,
But then you just kind of think, well, I want to do it, and I don't really care if I get 20 views on an episode and no one really
yeah,
comments and no one cares. It's kind of you almost end up doing it for yourself. So I picked up and I really enjoy filming myself and doing YouTube videos um, and just trying to share information.
yeah,
A lot of my videos that I do are informational, like tips on competing, tips on going to the gym, tips on diet, tips on programming and all that
yeah,
stuff, and more so a vlog now
yeah.
that I'm prepping. But I really like sharing good information and helping people.
Yeah, the videos are quality. My favorite one was the one where it could have been one of your very first ones. Actually, you were saying, I think I'm like late to the party or something, but I'm just going to do it anyway.
Yeah, yeah, that
And
was our first one.
yeah, first one, and it's like, yeah, I love it. It doesn't matter. It's the same with the podcast thing. I just thought, why not? Like, I might only
Yeah,
get 1 view or 2 views or 3 views, but if it helps one person, then that's fantastic. If I can get some
uh,
information across, that's fantastic. And we'll look back on this video. It might only get 10 views or 10 listens, but again, it's a memory that we're always going to have, and that's
yeah,
what life's about.
exactly. No, that's one thing I'm very happy about. Even if like just video recording my prep this year is really cool because it's always going to be there, and I can always watch it back and see the struggles that I had and the wins that I had and
Mm-hmm.
the end result. And it's just like you said, it's almost like if at worst case scenario, it's a really good information storage tool for you to look
Yeah.
back on anytime you'd like in the future
Mm-hmm.
and just be able to see what you've produced. Um, so yeah, definitely love recording YouTube, and I usually play football still.
Nice.
My competitive side from childhood, I still play football, but I do cut that out for risk of injury throughout
Yeah.
prep.
Yeah.
As anyone would expect, if you've got a really hardcore gym schedule and cardio on almost a daily basis, you know, twisting your ankle in a football match isn't an ideal situation. So
No.
that's temporarily on hold, but I'll be picking that up when I'm
Nice.
back.
No.
Yeah.
Awesome. Right. Two more questions. Last two. What is your main ambition in life? Have you got anything else outside of, say, competing or your current working environment, or have you got anything else like that you really want to achieve or get to?
I have you kind of split up into two different sections, I guess. One of them, my main ambition in life is at any point in my life to look back at the very minimum 12 months and say, am I any better than I was before in any aspect of life? Have I improved anything, whether that's health, friendships, families, career,
Mm-hmm.
financially? Um, that is the one, that is my main, just ultimate goal, to be continually getting better in one or multiple of those boxes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a continual goal that's just going to go throughout my whole life.
Yeah.
And then there's obviously I have ultimate goals where I do want to work for myself, whatever that may be. Um, but just from like a financial freedom perspective, just
Yes.
work for myself and do exactly what I love every day. I do enjoy my job,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't, if they said we're not going to pay you tomorrow, I probably wouldn't come in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whereas no one pays me to do fitness. In fact, I pay out money to do fitness through gym memberships, tanning, ticket fees, all these things that you pay for.
Yeah.
A coach, I actually pay to do this. So that's a big indication that my ultimate goal is to end up here and maybe hopefully make that an income generating stream
Yeah.
off the back of something I love. So
Brilliant.
that is the ultimate goal. Yeah.
Amazing. No, fantastic. I love that. I like the whole people say, "Oh, I'll do personal training for free," blah blah blah. And it's like, would you? Do you really love it that much that you do for free? Like like I said, if you weren't going to get paid for your job, would you turn up tomorrow?
And
No,
most people would say no.
no.
I know for a fact, like, fitness is my passion,
Yeah.
but traditional style PTing isn't something that I find attractive, I guess. I think it's purely just because you spend so much time in the gym as a PT. I've almost like something you love to go to would almost become something you have to go to. I really find online PTing and online prep coaching really interesting.
Yeah.
Or some sort of like working with a brand. I think that's just really cool. Or setting up your own brand,
Yeah.
or something of that nature.
Well, I was going to say actually, I've seen some promotional stuff with yourself with a supplement company. If you want to give them a shout out as well.
Yeah, Myo Bands. They're a really, really good small supplement company. They're based about 25-minute drive away from where I live.
Yeah.
Very local. And I've been using them for a while. And I kind of just thought I would love to work with them. But then I quickly realized, I'm like, why am I sat here waiting for them to reach out to me? I should start pretending like I work with them already in the way I post and carry myself on social media. So the way I was acting, people were like, "Are you sponsored by these guys?" And I'm like, "No, they've never even messaged me. I'm just trying to fake it till I make it."
Being honest, man, I like it.
Yeah. And funnily enough, after a little while, they reached out and they've send me like a discount code and said they'd assist me if I ever needed anything, and just creating that relationship one-on-one with the people that run the company is all I want, and hopefully I can grow with them as they grow, because they are a fantastic company and I love their supplements. So I'm happy
Amazing.
to push them for free.
Yeah.
If you truly, I would never promote a brand based on financial gain just because they pay me. I would always have to love the products, and that's why I've never done it before until my band. So
Yeah. Amazing. Now, I've seen a few of the things that you've shared, and I've actually asked you a few questions about them, and they do seem very good. I'll have to give them a go. You said they've got some vegan stuff as well, so I'm very, very intrigued. Whenever I hear that, I'm like, I need to know what this tastes like. I want to experience this. So I might have to get a few samples myself.
check it out. They've got this outrageous kind of protein juice where it's got half protein, half amino acids like L-glutamine, BCAAs, and creatine, all in one thing.
Yeah,
it's quite, and they have a vegan version of that. It's quite outstanding.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you do, just gonna plug my little code BM10 in there. You can get yourself 10% off.
No, awesome. Yeah, well, I'll absolutely jump on that. But no, fantastic. Then I've got another question which isn't written down, but I'd like to ask anyway. And the other one was, this is completely kind of back to where we were at the beginning, was what's kind of like an average day of your food like? What's kind of, how many calories are you on currently where you are a few days out from the show? And what's kind of like, say tomorrow's meals, for example, what would that look like?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, I'm very much on a meal plan style diet, which works a lot better for me. The two key reasons why a meal plan works better for me is because when I was on macros, it was very tempting for me to just not eat until about 6 p.m. and then gorge about 1,500 calories in one sitting, which is obviously nice at the time, but I think personally, it was just inherently driving an eating disorder in the background really, really, really quietly.
Yeah.
And also by not eating earlier, my body didn't feel fueled throughout the day. So I was a lot more sedentary, and therefore my calorie output was a lot lower than it could have been.
Yeah.
And also because I was following a macros plan, I found myself eating about a kilo of veg a day, chasing that feeling of being like uncomfortably full
Sounds
before I
like
go to
me.
bed. I know, yeah, and in fact, it worked. Like, it got me through prep. But once I finished eating the salads, and I was like, I'm done with salads. I don't want to have a kilo of veg a day.
Mm-hmm.
But my body was so accustomed to having such large quantities of food at once that filling it up with 2 slices of pizza was never going to do it, or 1 bowl of oats. It was always going to be 5 because I've just got that requirement to have so much food at once.
Yeah.
So this kind of meal plan, even though some people may say it's bro, it really forces you right 8 a.m. straight after your cardio, you're eating.
Yeah.
And I've never had a meal that's been more than 500 calories, 600
Mm-hmm.
calories, and I'm happy being 80% full, like satiety. So I feel like when I finish my prep, I'm not going to be thinking about food all the time.
Yeah.
But in terms of like specifics, my food started off really high, and now I'm at this point of prep where it's funny because I'm checking in every 2 days with my coach. I have no idea what my food's going to look like in the next 2 days. I
Yeah.
only have like vision of like 24 to 48 hours. So I'm currently on a plan of 6 meals a day,
Mm-hmm.
which total to around about 2,300 calories. So it's like kind of 6 meals of 300 to 400 calories.
Yeah.
Um, and it usually consists of pretty much the same things. You could probably categorize all these meals into either, now you have to close your ears on this one, Damien.
Yeah.
Beef,
Yeah.
chicken,
Yeah.
eggs,
Yeah.
asparagus,
Yeah.
um, cream of rice, and whey protein. Those things. There's a lot of health. There's a lot of gut health foods in there, like sauerkraut,
Yeah.
pineapple,
Nice.
asparagus, things that are really good for digestion. And it's just really basic. A lot of people say it's really boring, but when you get to this like area of prep, just having that with some Frank's Red Hot sauce tastes so damn good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
And cream of rice with a bit of Walden Farms on it tastes so good.
What
I
what
enjoy.
is cream of rice? I think I'm the only person to ever not know what this is.
Mm,
I keep seeing
I'd,
it, and I'm like,
I'd
is it just rice pudding or what? What is it?
I had never heard of it really, and I'd never tried it until it came up on my meal plan.
Mm.
But it really is so good. It's really changed the game. So cream of rice is essentially just a ground rice powder
Mm-hmm.
that you mix up almost like a protein shake, and then you either put it on the hob or microwave it, and it creates almost like like an Angel Delight
Yeah.
style texture.
Yeah.
But because it's just straight up ground white rice, and it's such a smooth texture, it just digests really easily.
Yeah.
Um, and it sits really well. For me personally, before I train, that's my pre-workout meal. Um, but I'm really enjoying it. I kind of thought I was skeptical when I got his meal plan initially because I'm always about high fiber foods, high fiber, lots of veg, keep yourself full for longer.
Yeah.
So when he gave me the meal plan and it was like white rice, cream of rice, whey protein, like whey protein digests within like
Yeah.
like no time and goes through your system. So I was like, God, I'm going to be absolutely starving on this diet.
Yeah.
And earlier on in the diet, I had bagels in there, and all different like white bagels and stuff like very high calorie dense foods. But for some reason, I've just
It's
been
clicked and
okay.
it's settled well.
I've been okay. But it's all been very highly digestible, good on the digestive system, gut health
Mm-hmm.
foods. But yeah, so that's it. 6 meals, 2,200 calories. Cardio is about, on average, at this point, an hour a day.
Yeah.
But I actually checked in this morning with the boss, and cardio is starting to taper off. With a week to go,
Yeah.
slowly
Good.
tapering off. So
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like anyone that's looking to competition prep, you should be prepared for the last week and a half to be doing an hour a day of cardio.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's just the way it is. You should not be doing an hour a day 6 weeks out. Absolutely not. But
No.
within the last 2 or 3 weeks, yeah, you should probably expect, a good 2-week period of doing intense cardio just to get you over to that line, because you're taking your body to places it doesn't like to be. And
No,
sometimes you've got to do amounts of cardio you don't like to do to get
no,
there.
no. I completely agree with you 100%. It's not meant to be, I guess, enjoyable. It's if you want to push your body to the point of where it doesn't want to be, it's not going to be it's not going to be comfortable. It's going to be one of them.
Yeah, I think that one of the biggest fights when you get to sub 3 weeks out is because you're so tired and your legs are fried all the time. It's so tempting for you to be like, oh, instead of upping my cardio, I'm just gonna drop my calories by 500. That's so detrimental. It's so easy though, because sometimes you're just so tired, you're like, I just don't want to move, so I'm just not going to eat. But then it has such a spiraling effect on your metabolism and your energy output that you just got to push through and try and push the cardio always before dropping the food. It will pay big dividends massively.
Yeah.
That's one of my biggest advice, I'd say.
No, nice one. Right. Last question, and this will be the final one, and we'll wrap things up. Is do you think you are going to win the Beachbody World Title come the next few days? I guess.
Yeah. I don't know whether Dan's going to like this, but I truly believe I'm going to win it. Sometimes people find it somewhat arrogant and cocky to say something like that, but I think about it almost every night before I go to bed. Having that belt wrapped around me like you did last year, and just having that vision, and it just keeps coming back to me. And it's not just, I'm not just visioning it so it's going to happen. I'm obviously doing everything in my being to work hard and make that reality. But I truly believe that I'm going to do it. I really do. Yeah.
So I think it's the attitude you got to take into it. You can't be kind of floating around with a decision. Your mind's set on the victory, and I really like that. And I look forward to seeing you compete. I look forward to seeing everyone compete in the worlds, and I'll be definitely tuning into the live stream. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing that and seeing how you get on. It's going to be I think it's going to be an absolute cracker of a show. There's some good names coming, but no, I think you'll do well. I think it's going to be very close. I'm not going to give my full prediction. I don't want anyone biting my head off, but
no,
I think you'll do well.
You can never give a full prediction because bodies can change very quickly, and it doesn't matter how good you look 1 week out, 4 weeks out. It's all about how good you look on show day. You can never really truly call it until the day anyway. But I am interested to know exactly how many people are going to tune into this live stream. It's such a different structure than usual.
Yeah, it's going to be strange, but it's exciting. Regardless of how you get on, you're going to be creating history because it'll be the first one, I guess, without a crowd. It's going to be a different atmosphere. The procedure is going to be different. The field of play is different, and again, you'll look back and you'll be part of history no matter what you do. And I really think your physique is better than last time, and I think that's something to take away and be proud of for sure.
That was definitely the main priority, was just bring a better package, improve on myself. But like you said, everybody competes with the mindset of winning as well.
Yeah. But have you got any final thoughts or any more shout outs you'd like to give before we wrap this up?
No, I thought I've had a really good time on this podcast. I knew as soon as the last one finished with Gaunty and George and the rest of the guys, as soon as that finished, I was like, I want to come back on here, but give us. It's
nice to chat and just to catch up and talk about it. It's always enjoyable.
Yeah, no, I think it's great to be back, and it's a timely basis to be back 1 week out to challenge for the title that you currently have. So I've loved it, and hopefully the listeners enjoyed it and found it somewhat entertaining or educational. Yeah,
I think we'll definitely have to catch up after. I'm not going to lie, it's going to feel very strange after, depending, because there will be a new world champion of 2020, and we'll keep moving forward. But I've come to terms with it all. But no, I hope you do really well. I hope you bring the package you want, and everything else goes smooth. If I don't speak to you beforehand, again, get there safely, enjoy the procedure. Hopefully, everyone in the event and everyone's safe, and all goes ahead, and there's no problems. Safe health for everyone and travel. But no,
Yeah,
man, smash it
absolutely.
and
Awesome.
smash it, and I look forward to
Yeah.
watching you on the stage, man. I think it's very exciting. I'm very much looking forward to watching, and but yeah, we'll have to try and catch up after, and we'll get another training session in. But
Absolutely.
no, thanks for tuning in, man. Well, thanks listeners for tuning in, and you've been a good chat, Brett.
No, thanks for having me. And I guess a quick shout out to See Me in Fitness. You showed me around for the first time today, and
Yeah,
I thought it was an amazing gym.
I appreciate it,
It's
man.
just a shame it's not close by. Otherwise, I'd do the quick jump from Pure Gym.
Yeah.
No,
But
great
no,
gym.
we're good to see you back training, and I'm like I say, we'll catch up again very, very, very soon, and
Yeah,
we'll be in touch. But again, if I don't see you beforehand, smash it, enjoy it, get some sick photographs, and then yeah, man, stay safe, and I'll speak to you soon.
yeah. Catch up shortly. Good to
Brilliant.
see you.
Cheers, Brett.
Cheers, guys.